For those of you who are taking Thesis Seminar, I wanted to create a short video discussing the importance of aligning your questions that you are going to include in your interview or questions that you include in your surveys or questionnaires. Make sure that those align directly with your research questions. So what I would do is first revisit your research questions, the ones that you're posing at the end of your literature review. And then whenever you're preparing your questionnaire or when you're preparing the questions for your interview/intervention, if you're doing an intervention, as well as any focus groups, make sure that all of the questions that you're posing in those different areas, make sure that they each relate in some way directly to one or more of your research questions. A good thing to do is, for example, when you're doing a questionnaire, is look at all of the questions that you're posing and link each one of those questions back to your research questions, and then make sure that you're comfortable with the number and type of questions that are linking to each of your research questions. So you don't want to have too many questions, for example, that relate to question 1 and neglect research question number 2 or 3, for example. Make sure that you feel you have a good balance between those questions, again, looking at each one individually. Similarly, when you look at the questions that you're going to prepare for in your interview or your intervention, if you're going to do an intervention, make sure that those questions also link back directly to the research questions. If you're not sure as to whether or not the questions that you're posing in your interview guide or your focus group guide or your questionnaire, that's something we need to talk about right away so that there's no confusion as to what you're asking, making sure that the answers that you get are linking to the research question. Obviously, if you're not asking the right questions and they don't link to the research questions, the answers to those questions aren't likely to relate to your research questions as well. If anyone wants to kind of go over your intervention or interview beforehand, we can also do that. And there's no need to wait for your tutoring session. If you have something ready and worked up beforehand, that's fine. We can discuss that whenever you're ready to do that. So I hope this helps. Leave any questions here below if you have any doubts, or come by my office.